Today, I've again done the one card pull from the Dreaming Oracle. So let's go ahead and see what we have today. Roots. So far from the images I've seen in her cards, or their cards, it's actually two women. This one's much more realistic, if that makes sense. Even though obviously it's very like stylized. It's, if you'll see from some of the other videos, I don't know if you'll feel similarly, but let's see, roots. If the sky is falling, remember that you're made of stars. Your secret teacher underground offers nurturing tendrils to keep you calm. Has life been a little chaotic lately? Have you gone through exceptional change? Or are you facing an overwhelming task that makes your knees buckle? Whatever the situation, this card is a sign that grounding is needed. It's time to connect to the earth, your body, and source. If grounding does not come easily to you, let the trees teach you how. Be still. Without the cold and inert days of winter, trees might succumb to illness and death in the summer. To stay strong, we too need downtime, especially if we're going through a radical shift. So if your instinct is to hibernate and regroup right now, the aspens, oaks, and pines say you're on the right track. You'll emerge from your dormancy with more fortitude than if you had branched out before you were ready. Set strong boundaries. Seedlings have to endure a hardening, a gradual exposure to the elements that toughens them up. Sometimes to cope with adversity, we too have to toughen up. Part of this process may be developing a thicker skin, emotional bark, if you will, that repels threatening forces, such as others' criticism, rejection, or harsh actions. When you have had enough of others' frigid wind, you become more willing to say who can and cannot take shelter under your generous limbs. You also become less likely to take others' behavior personally, and instead just let the reactivity slide off of you like rain. God, I wish I was good at that. I'm trying to be better, but I'm so bad at that. As you work to make your needs a priority, not everyone will like it, but stand tall anyway. Connect to the unseen. During times of tumult, it's crucial to root yourself in source, what late theologian Paul Tillich called the ground of being, and life-affirming activities that feed your soul. Delve into the rich soil of your inner world, for in its wild earth lies immeasurable nourishment. The deeper you dig, the more insight you will receive. The roots of this card's tree form a spiral, which for millennia has served as a symbol for humanity's connection to the cosmos. Let it remind you of the timelessness of your own eternal soul. You are without beginning or end. Rooted in this awareness, the abundance of your life will grow. Through the artist's eyes, tree branches spiral like spiny fingers, creeping potential as roots anchor down and search subterranean thoughts. You're headed into uncharted territory. As you let go of the past, that old loyal dog, life will change. During the transition, it's important to protect yourself and your loved ones, psychically, mentally, and spiritually. Don't be afraid to create boundaries, leave willow walls, and wear cloaks of herbs. Sink seeds deep into the ground and absorb the murky darkness that surrounds you. Use your creativity to light a fire in your heart and turn your grief into art, music, poems, and incantations. Leave gifts to the departed and prayers to the future. Tend the soil and give the roots time to curl out into the fertile unknown. There they will gather nutrients, so new fruits will grow. I hope you'll share in the comments if this card and the reading, if anything spoke to you or jumped out to you. For me, one of the most profound things that jumped out to me, probably the most profound things that hopefully will help me, is, okay, if you can hear that wind and rain, I'm going to try to talk over it. That she says, you are without beginning or end, rooted in this awareness, the abundance of your life will grow. Because oftentimes, what jumped in my mind was the idea that even if we turn into nothing when we die, like our consciousness, right, even if there's nothing after, there's no heaven, there's no whatever, that doesn't mean I mean, obviously, like parts of us go on, right? Our memories, people's memories of us, or actions, things like that. But it also made me realize, like, that you are without beginning or end. The idea that, like, you are not you, the ego. So even if your ego's gone, you are without beginning and end, because we're, you know, if we're droplets in a river, well, the river still exists once that drop is gone, right? So isn't that the same with us? So that I bring that up because sometimes, you know, like when I think about death and you think about there just being nothing, the possibilities are just nothing. It's very frightening as obviously as a human being. But I find that idea comforting of thinking it's like, well, even if that's true, that still doesn't mean you don't live on. You're just not aware if you're living on this, if that makes sense. So that jumped out at me. The other thing that jumps out to me, and does a lot of times when I'm reading oracle cards, is how oftentimes they give us the benefit of the doubt, the creator, right? And maybe this is a good thing. Like they'll say, for example, you know, like they don't often say, are you being hard on someone else? They'll say, has someone been hard on you, right? Or do you give too much? Not, do you take too much? Some do. Some cards do, and some don't. Like some decks do, and some don't. But there's always some part of me that's a little annoyed about it always being, or it always seeming to be on the compassion side. Probably says something about not good about me. But in sort of confronting that thought, I also realized, like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, it means that creator is trying to help you from a place of acceptance and what do you call it? And compassion. Like, for you to be compassionate about yourself, it doesn't mean you're a saint. You know what I mean? Like, it means you need to be compassionate with yourself and approaching it from this side of, like, it's not toxic positivity, it's just trying to give yourself and your soul benefit of the doubt, because in that place of safety, maybe you can grow. Kind of like the roots of this tree. Anyway, I hope you got something. Like I said, please, if you feel like sharing in the comments, if this card spoke to you in a certain way or something jumped out at you about it, I'd love to hear. And if not, I hope to see you soon, and I hope this was helpful.